So yeah, this thing isn't going away. Wait till we find out what all the other ones were. And then there's Pete Hegseth, the Fox News weekend host who Donald Trump appointed to lead the Defense Department. In recent days, we have learned that Pete Hegseth not only posted a detailed timeline of a forthcoming military strike to that group chat on Signal, which inadvertently included a reporter, Pete Hegseth also, according to the Wall Street Journal, quote, brought his wife, a former Fox News producer, to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed.
Signalgate is far from over, no matter what Carolyn Levitt claimed this morning. The case is not closed. Far from it. We refuse to let those still harping on about but her emails get away with brushing aside one of the most egregious national security breaches in history after just a week of coverage. We will expose their ignorance, highlight the danger their incompetence poses, and use every available tool to hold them accountable. And today, that's exactly what happened. A Democrat made a stunning announcement, delivering a devastating blow to Trump, Hegseth, Waltz, Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance, and the rest of their circus act. And we are going to get into it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, it goes a long way. It really does mean a lot to me now before we can get to this moment on the House floor that has Donald Trump pretty worried. We need some context on the latest from this story from Rachel Maddow.
The Signal group texting about war plans, that scandal is also continuing to blow up, even though they keep trying to pretend either it didn't happen or it's over now. The Wall Street Journal reporting this weekend that this apparently was not the first time that Trump National Security Advisor Michael Waltz had convened a group of Trump cabinet officials in a group chat on this commercial texting app. Quoting from the Wall Street Journal this weekend, quote, 2 U.S. officials also said that Waltz had created and hosted multiple other sensitive national security conversations on Signal with cabinet members, including separate threads on brokering peace between Russia and Ukraine, as well as other military operations. Sources, quote, declined to address if any classified information was posted in those chats. So yeah, this thing isn't going away. Wait till we find out what all the other ones were. And then there's Pete Hegseth, the Fox News weekend host who Donald Trump appointed to lead the Defense Department. In recent days, we have learned that Pete Hegseth not only posted a detailed timeline of a forthcoming military strike to that group chat on Signal, which inadvertently included a reporter, Pete Hegseth also, according to the Wall Street Journal, quote, brought his wife, a former Fox News producer, to 2 meetings with foreign military counterparts where sensitive information was discussed. The meetings included the Ukraine Defense Contact Group at NATO, a closed-door meeting of that group, more than 50 countries represented there, and also a very sensitive meeting with the British Defense Secretary. Pete Hegseth has been bringing his wife to these meetings. Does she have a security clearance? This is the same wife, you may recall, who Mr. Hegseth brought with him to his meetings with U.S. senators ahead of his confirmation process for this job. That, of course, made it socially awkward for those senators to ask him at those meetings about the rape allegations that he had faced in California and his alleged serial infidelity and problems with drinking on the job. He has denied the rape allegations in California, and of course, he was never charged in conjunction with those allegations. That said, the Associated Press is also now reporting on the strange circumstance that has arisen at the Pentagon in Mr. Hegseth's short time there, in which not only is he bringing his wife to sensitive meetings with foreign military leaders, but he's also somehow got himself into a situation where his baby brother, his younger brother, Phil, has also ended up on the plane to Guantanamo with Pete Hegseth and also on the plane last week to Hawaii. What is his little brother doing there? Good question. Quote, based on Phil Hegseth's publicly available resume, his past experience includes founding his own podcast production company.
Pure incompetence, recklessness, and a total disregard for national security. This administration is infested with MAGA DEI nonsense. That's exactly why we won't let Carolyn Levitt declare the case closed and simply move on. A deeper investigation is necessary, not just to ensure those responsible lose their jobs, but to hold them criminally accountable for violating our laws. And today, that's precisely what happened. A Democratic congresswoman took to the House floor to announce a full-scale investigation in this clip right here.
I rise with deep shock, concern, and outrage at the carelessness of the Trump administration in disclosing highly sensitive operational military plans on a commercial chat platform that included a reporter. Without a doubt, this reckless incompetence put our service women and men in danger. Last week, I received a call from a constituent whose son is deployed abroad in the region. His son's mission was personally put at risk by the very same people charged with safeguarding our armed forces who put their lives on the line for us. This Arizona father and his son sacrificed for our country, and we should all be ashamed that this is how their service is repaid. The Trump administration officials who set up and participated in this Signal chat debacle should have taken responsibility for their egregious mistake and instantly offered their resignation for having violated the law, contravened common sense, and put American troops in harm's way. Let me put it this way. Not only did the National Security Advisor set up an illegal, unsecured chat with the Secretary of Defense, the CIA Director, the Vice President, and others to discuss highly sensitive and imminent attack plans, but they also bungled their way into adding a random person into the chat. We should not be surprised in the slightest that the Trump administration treats our nation's secrets this way. This is the same man, after all, who had our nuclear code sitting in his bathroom in Mar-a-Lago. The way that the administration has handled this entire calamity has been equally as dangerous. Secretary of Defense Hegseth straight up lied. He said there was no classified information on the chat, that he didn't share attack plans, that no troops were put in harm's way. And then there's our Director of National Intelligence, who is supposedly our nation's most trusted, meticulous secret keeper, who went before the Senate to mislead, evade, and perjure herself. What a truly disgraceful episode. This is not a partisan issue. In fact, both the chair and ranking member of the Senate Armed Service Committee, in a bipartisan manner, requested that the Pentagon investigate the use of the Signal app to share classified information. We can all agree that no government employee, let alone a cabinet member, should be sharing classified information in a Signal chat and be careless enough to add a reporter to it as well. There should be a serious after-action review to prevent this from ever happening again, and one that considers the criminality involved. And yet another Trump lackey, our Attorney General, who is officially supposed to be the people's lawyer, is ruling out a criminal investigation into the scheme altogether. These are the same people that spent the better part of a decade looking into Hillary's emails. They evidently do not care to even pretend to investigate how our nation's most secret information was being shared. The ramifications of this unmitigated disaster will be felt for years, even decades to come. Why would any of our allies share sensitive information with us if the Secretary of Defense is just going to pop it in a group chat and share it with the editor-in-chief of a national publication? In conjunction with all of the other actions the Trump administration has taken to dismiss or turn our backs on our allies, I am deeply concerned about how Signalgate will make us much less safe in the long term. Our nation deserves better. Our service women and men deserve better. We deserve better.
We need more details about what happened and whether our national security has been completely compromised by some of the most incompetent people to ever serve in our government. This is especially urgent as new information continues to surface daily. Reports suggest that Pete Hegseth has been involving his close associates in these national national security discussions, almost as if he were casually cracking open beers with friends. While that's not literally the case, it wouldn't be surprising. His wife and brother are reportedly involved, and now there are revelations about other compromised signal chats, and we saw Jen Psaki break that all down right here.
It turns out all these people who have worked on national security issues for years were onto something. They knew. I mentioned this new reporting earlier, but it bears repeating. I mean, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Quote, 2 U.S. officials said that National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has created and hosted multiple other sensitive national security conversations on Signal with cabinet members, including separate threads on how to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine, as well as military operations. They declined to address if any classified information was posted in those chats. Of course, they declined to address that. I mean, that is one of those things that is shocking a little bit, but also not really surprising. The Wall Street Journal is also reporting that even though Trump has decided not to fire Waltz for now, the damage done to his reputation has put him on shaky ground in the White House, and he has lost sway with the president. Go figure. I mean, he's lost sway because he had Jeffrey Goldberg in his phone, though. I think that's the deal. Anyway, I think it's safe to say that this latest reporting about multiple other sensitive national security chats is only going to make that ground a whole lot shakier. That's my bet. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Jason Crow of Colorado. He's a former Army Ranger who served 3 tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's also a member of the House Intelligence Committee. So I just want to start there. I suspect you're one of those people who thought maybe there's going to be other chats out there, because, of course, that wasn't the only one. The one they referenced and that the Wall Street Journal reported on today included conversations about Russia and Ukraine, as well as military operations, which is not specific. But you're a veteran. You've served in Iraq and Afghanistan. How concerned are you about what else could be out there? And what should people understand about the sensitivity of that type of information?
Well, there's no doubt this appears to be part of a larger pattern and practice that's both sloppy and reckless, but also probably violates a number of laws. But, for all the discussion about violation of laws and the violation of process, I think what's most important here is the risk, the ongoing risk that's posed to our servicemen and women right now. Right? In this town, we sit around in D.C. all the time, and we talk about process, we talk about laws, we talk about principals committees, we throw out all these terms. But what is really important is there's some private, there's some sergeant, there's some captain downrange right now where we're having this conversation doing a risky mission. And our adversaries, Russia, China, and others are trying desperately to get information to harm them. So this recklessness is not without substantial risk to them.
I think this is such an important piece for people to understand, because the risk, say, with the operation in Yemen was that the Houthis could have known in advance. They didn't, but they could have known in advance. The military, members of the military who operationalized that could have been at risk. When it relates to Russia and Ukraine, who knows what that means? But if there were chats about Ukraine military equipment or operations or locations, all of this puts the people who are participating in it at risk. Is there more people should understand about that as somebody who's done these missions?
We don't know. First of all, let's talk about the Houthis. A lot of discussion about that.
Yeah.
Right? I think sometimes people have this impression that, this is a bunch of guys with AK-47s rolling around the back of pickup trucks. No, this is a military force.
Yeah.
This is an army that has some of the most sophisticated air defense systems in the world, so much so that they actually have been shooting down American unmanned aircraft. They shot down an MQ-9 Reaper drone just last year. So the idea that these folks could have had information, and they're aligned with the Russians, we know that, could have had information in advance warning of a very risky strike that our pilots were conducting over.
We cannot let MAG escape this. We cannot let them escape this scandal. We have to press on. We have to continue to get more information, not just because this is an important political issue, but because this is our national security. Let's be real. We are all in danger if we do not hold them accountable. Why we're going to be talking about it on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.